Kyle Klingman with Track Wrestling. It is Christmas Day, and what a great way to celebrate with Mike Poeta. He is an assistant coach at the University of Illinois. Of course, he was a three-time All-American there, reached the finals twice. How are you, Mike?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Merry Christmas. And as we think about wrestling and the holidays, it's unique because usually this is the time you're gearing up for tournaments like Midlands or Southern Scuffle or South Beach Duels. As a wrestler that's been through that, what's it like to be a competitive wrestler during the holidays?
Well, I feel like the holidays for a wrestler, it always means like competing and you're getting after it. Usually Thanksgiving, you're competing right after and Christmas. So I think for this year, the guys were able to enjoy it a little bit more. Uh, and so on a typical year, it's the wrestlers are coming back tomorrow. We're training for 2 days, and then we're driving to Chicago and going to Midlands. That's typically how it is in a normal year. And our team, I would say, pretty much 80% of the team is from the Chicagoland area. So they go back home for 5 days to the Chicagoland area, come back to Champaign for a day or two, and then we go right back to where they started. So that's a traditional holiday for us. But this year is obviously different.
Of course, there's a lot of food and the trappings of eating and all the great things that come with the holidays. Is it hard to avoid that when you're competitive?
Uh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, going through wrestling, and then when you're done looking back on it, like I don't know how I cut weight. Like I don't know how I did it. When you're older, like the thought of going to bed that thirsty and hurting that bad and getting that low is like crazy. If someone told me to be 10 pounds lighter by the end of the week, I would be 20 pounds heavier right now. So yeah, I think the guys are just so accustomed to just cutting weight. It's the norm. And this year there's a little more time from when they come back Christmas. So I think our guys have done a great job with their weight. They've really like leaned out throughout this whole preseason, and it might have been better that they weren't competing early on and kind of bouncing up and down. It's just been this gradual making their way down to their scratch weight, and I think they've done a really good job with it. So I'm hoping when everyone comes back, it's just continued.
Whether it was Thanksgiving or Christmas, were holidays a blur for you during college?
During those times, see, I didn't cut a ton of weight making 57. I mean, I was really disciplined about it. I think that was the reason I ended up not cutting weight. So I think it was like somewhat normal meals for me. I was really stupid in high school. High school, I was still in that like barbaric old school wrestling. You cut as much weight until you're about to die, then you get on the scale and you wrestle. So high school was really difficult for the holidays. Early on when I was very like uneducated and really stupid about cutting weight. But as I got older, it wasn't as bad.
Because of that and cutting weight and competitions that come with being a competitive wrestler, does it make you appreciate the holidays even more when you get out of it?
Um, yeah, I've always been very, very close with my family. So I just think just in general, it's kind of been the same. It's always been a very pleasant, I guess, time experience for me, the holidays. We always eat really well. My dad's a butcher, so the holidays, the food is always top notch. So
Man, that's awesome having your dad as a butcher. That had to be fun.
I thought eating the way I ate growing up, I kind of thought it was normal. I guess I learned like later on that having steak dinners every single night is kind of like abnormal to most people. So I was a little spoiled in that department.
You're a relationship guy. You value relationships above all else, and that's what drove you to Illinois, and I think it's what drives you now. Do relationships win wrestling matches?
Yeah, well, yeah, because I think the best wrestlers have the best relationship with their coaches and the best support system. So when families really get behind guys, I feel like you see a lot of success in those kids. And you really don't see many guys that winning, let's say, NCAA titles, making senior level teams without having a big support group behind them. It's so important. Like it's really, really difficult for us to do it on our own. So I definitely think winning in wrestling, there's definitely a big correlation between your relationship with your supporters back home and your coaching staff.
When you look back at your career, you deliberately chose Illinois because you wanted to be that prototype of the guy that stayed home and box in a great state like Illinois. Do you feel like that's the direction of where Illinois needs to go, is make sure you box in that state?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're creeping that way. Slowly and slowly, I think we're kind of chipping away. But yeah, back when I was kind of in that like recruiting process, trying to figure it out, like there's no way I was gonna represent any other state than Illinois. Like that was my state. Growing up on schoolboy, cadet, junior teams, I had Illinois on all my singlets, and that was going to continue. That was important to me. So it was. I think maybe it may have gone down, let's say, a little bit, but I think that pride is starting to come back. And I think one thing I think that that helps us is the amount that Illinois high school wrestlers are in Champaign. So they're down here for the state tournament. They're down here for Freestyle State. They're down here for the Fargo training camp. So I think the familiarity with being down here is it helps us.
Are these guys adapting to this new format of a season?
Yeah, I mean it's obviously it's really weird. I mean we're the coaches, we're going through this kind of weird process at the same time, and we're apologetic to them for breaks and what we're asking them to do. Now it's no different than what any other wrestler has to do across the country, but it is really difficult to say to kids, you can't be around your other friends. For this holiday, you probably can't go home. So things like that. We are home for Christmas, but very short breaks. You got about a day to go home and see your family, and then we got to get back here. We got to test. We got to do the quarantine process. So it's insanely weird. We feel bad that the lifestyle they have to live is coming from our direction in a sense, but it is what it is. And I think there's the one perk is that we got them at the end of August, and we've been just training for the past 4 months. So I think weight wise, their bodies and their weights got down to weight great. There was no bouncing where we had to start making weight early on. And I know our guys are just dying to grab someone that's not from our team, and to grab someone where it's not on the third floor at Huff Hall, and they've wrestled with that guy 1,000 times this year so far. I'm really excited. I think it helps as a coach, kind of knowing where guys are at and what you can work on when you start wrestling some other people. So with the season really kind of approaching, I'm just excited to start getting after it.
Who's going to create your feast?
For like who's going to devour people on my wrestling team, or holiday food-wise?
Your personal feast. Like you talked about your dad being a butcher. I mean, is he going to create the feast?
For tonight, yes, he will provide the food. I'm sure my mom is going to do the majority of the cooking. But yeah, I'm sure it never disappoints.
We'll end with this. Jim Heffernan, the one thing I hear about him is he's a technical genius. You're in there with him. I mean, what does he bring to the table that's special in his way to articulate technique?
His technique is phenomenal, and it still holds up. I mean, he's a mid-'80s guy, and when you watch wrestling from the mid-'80s, I'm going to offend a lot of people right now. It's not as good. But at the same time, there wasn't track wrestling, and there wasn't other outlets where they had such easy access to see high level wrestling like nonstop. So I do get it where you're limited you're not exposed to as much. But when you go back and watch wrestlers in the 80s, now I think winners win. So you can put anybody in any generation. I think winners are going to find their way to win. So those guys that were winning in the 80s, they would have won now. But when you just watch it, the tech, it seems to be a lower level, except for when you watch Jim Heffernan. Jim Heffernan looks like he's wrestling in 2020 in the 1986 NCAA finals. So when he's showing guys stuff right now, nothing has been dated. And I mean, we were working with a kid on singles the other day, and we were having a hard time getting it. And Hef came up, threw out a couple of pointers, and the kid was hitting it right. Now, Hef very humbly said, he's a lefty, Mike. That's why I had it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on your toes. But with me, I don't take anything like personal. Whoever is going to get the best out of our guys, that's what I want. So when Hef steps in and kind of drops some great technical knowledge, I mean, I'm learning kind of at the same time still with it. And honestly, I feel like I have a very high wrestling IQ with technique and other things. And yeah, I've still learned things from Hef coming back.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy New Year. Appreciate this time on Christmas Day. All the best with Illinois in this shortened season. We wish there were tournaments going on at the end of the year, but we'll just have to wait until the new year to get them rolling.
It's coming quick. It's only about 2 weeks away.
Enjoy your
So,
feast.
thank you. All those same things to you. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, everything. Happy New Year. Thanks for having me on.